something a little different today. Everybody can see that? Okay. Part of Virginia has worked with employers to develop workplace readiness skills. So that's part of this course. We're supposed to introduce you to them. So who here has had a job before? Anyone? They had rules and regulations that you had to follow, dress codes. Matthew, did you have to follow a dress code? What did you do?
Where's your construction job for like houses and stuff? I basically tear the walls down and everything, and then put drywall in and everything.
They didn't require you to wear steel-toed boots or anything?
Well, we wear that stuff. I mean, we wear like torn, ragged clothing and boots and stuff.
What about you, Michael? Did you have to wear
Yeah, you gotta wear like a uniform.
uniform? Okay.
I don't. I'm gonna be a business. I got $37 an hour for the CEO, and then I lost some ground.
So, first thing you need to do, the first thing I want to talk about is work ethic, positive work ethic. So, Corey, give me an example of positive work ethic.
Follow directions.
Follow directions.
Positive work ethic skills.
Positive work ethic skills. Yeah, you want to be punctual. You want to show up on time. You want to be excited and thrilled about being at your workplace. So, Jeffrey, do you think you have what it takes to be a positive, excited, happy person at work?
Of course I do. Him? Yes.
So,
What about me?
No. You're a secretary. That's what you are.
I'm not a secretary. I'm not going to work for somebody else.
What do you plan on doing?
A journalist.
so when you guys,
You're gonna be that angry journalist. Like,
Michael, when you were at work, did you encounter people that had the opposite of positive, happy attitudes?
yeah. That's gonna be like all with it.
Did your boss like those employees a lot, or were they more gung ho about the employees that had happy, positive attitudes?
They like people with more positive attitudes.
So which one do you think is going to get you ahead more in a workplace? Positive attitude, or I'm here to get a paycheck attitude?
Positive.
Well, as long as you do what it takes to get a paycheck.
They gotta be positive.
Well, you do what it takes.
Especially because they can't. A lot of jobs can't afford to find employees that are happy about their work.
But they prefer employees that are happy about their work.
They're not supposed to show that.
Currently, with the current economic situation, if they got people who have negative attitudes, they will easily find people who are willing to go and work in a positive manner.
A lot of jobs can't afford to do that, like McDonald's. You're not going to find somebody who enjoys working at McDonald's.
Trust me, right now, right now, with the current economic climate, if there's a job available, there are people lining up at the door everywhere. Walmart was hiring when they opened their last store. They had thousands of people show up to apply for 20 positions. So if you're going to have a bad attitude, they're not going to want you. Right now, the employers have all the control because there's so many people at work.
So you get yourself on the fancy college diplomas.
Okay, another thing that you need to make sure that you do at work is demonstrate integrity. So, Austin, give me an example of integrity.
Being able to identifying and abiding by laws and workplace policies.
Okay, TJ, what does integrity mean? You guys have never heard the word integrity?
I know what it is.
I don't know how to sum. I don't know
Mary,
how to sum
what's integrity
Like
mean?
ethics, moral, structure.
It means being honest, truthful, doing the right thing. So, Jonathan, do you have integrity when it comes to your work? You always do your own work by yourself? No one ever helps you?
It depends on if I'm in the class or not.
Everybody in unless maybe you.
No.
Mary, if you knew somebody who was at work and they were bending or breaking the rules, what would you do?
Snitch right away.
Unless it benefits me, I'd probably tell
She
somebody
would
higher
snitch
up.
and then ask for a raise.
Unless it benefits you, you tell somebody higher up.
Well, yeah, nobody wants to sell themselves out.
So what do you think your employer wants you to do?
The employer probably wants a snitch.
Yeah. That's what the employer wants.
Here's the way I look at it. When you throw somebody under the bus, there's a possibility you will fall under the bus.
I know.
But if somebody's bending the rules and they're doing something that's putting other people at risk, isn't it better to report them, even if they're your friend, than to risk somebody getting hurt?
I'm not really going to work in a place that involves people in any
Where do you intend to work? What do you intend to do?
in a nice air-conditioned office.
Doing what?
Nothing with computers all day.
Playing Tetris.
I can do that.
Yes, playing Tetris. IT.
There's no jobs for people who play Tetris all day, trust me.
Game
IT.
tester?
This guy right
Nobody's
here.
catching games anymore.
All right, I'll tell you, I have worked in almost every type of industry and employment that is possible. And I've been everything from a courier driver to a nice air-conditioned office worker
To a teacher?
to a teacher to a security guard. I've also worked in manufacturing. I've done it just about everything you can think of. And you encounter situations that make you have to require. I mean, the office job, just like here, they can see everything you do on your computer. If you're doing stuff on your computer that's inappropriate or is not right,
I'm going to be the IT guy. I'm the one that sees everything that goes on.
even the IT guy is monitored.
By who? Another
By-
IT guy?
There's always a superior IT guy.
It'll
Unless you're
be
the
me.
very top owner of the company, you're monitored, trust me.
Well, that's where I am.
Isn't that what everybody
Oh, monitor. Order.
So, Austin, give me an example of where you think somebody could get hurt by not being showing integrity.
Not going with the construction workers' safety guidelines, I guess.
Yeah, all right, let's go with construction.
I
You're
got
working
one.
on a construction site, you see somebody going up who doesn't have a safety harness, and you don't tell anybody, you don't tell them to put on a harness,
I got one.
and he falls and gets hurt, yeah.
This is what we call Darwinism.
That is such
No, we're not going to.
You know what? If they're not smart enough to
Yes, Mike.
wear a safety harness, then you know what? They deserve it.
Somebody stealing and you know about it, but you don't
I
tell
got
the
into an
boss.
argument with somebody because they tried to tell me.
Yeah, if someone's stealing. I don't know, do any of you guys like watch
It's such an awful thing to say.
I'm not saying suicide. Natural selection.
things, any of you guys ever watch things like Kitchen Impossible or
That was my-
Hell's, not
Hell's
Hell's
Kitchen
Kitchen,
is funny.
Kitchen Nightmares.
I always gotta compare to Chef Ramsay.
There's also a show called Restaurant Stakeout. This guy goes and he puts video monitors in a thing for restaurant owners. And I watched one episode the other night, and when he wasn't there, the waitress was asked if they could make a special order, and she turned to the customer and says, "I'm sorry, this isn't Burger King, you can't have it your way." Now, what do you think the owner thought of that employee?
You probably laughed.
Creative.
I would have laughed.
No, fries.
Burger King.
They're probably fire. They're probably You're
I went to Burger King like 5 times and I got a really cool cheeseburger. Backhand person. Fries were good. Burger tasted like ice.
So Jonathan, do you think that was a good work ethic? Do you think that was displaying integrity? No. You would never do that, would you? Teamwork. All employers want people that are team players. So do you guys prefer to work by yourselves or in a group?
Myself.
Depends on the thing.
If an employer asked you that at an interview, would you say you prefer to work by yourself or in a group?
Well, you prefer to work by
In a
yourself, but
group.
you're able to work
In a group.
Which is,
It lets them know
The
you.
correct answer is, I prefer to work with a team,
Yeah.
even if you prefer to work by yourself.
Oh, really?
well, that's lying. So that's not being integrity. That's not having integrity.
Yes, thank
Yeah.
you.
So you know what? You're telling us to contradict ourselves.
That's true, but I had a job interview. I went there, the guy asked me that question, and I prefer working by myself in certain situations. And in that situation, I said that, and I didn't get the job.
I mean, it shows you
Because
that
they want
you can
people that are
cooperate.
team players. They want people who work together.
Oh, good, that's for me then.
But if you say that you prefer working by yourself, but you can work successfully in a team,
I work better.
The best answer is, I prefer to work in a team, but I'm totally capable of working independently. So, if I asked you guys to work in a team, you guys would all work together?
I'm fine with putting all the work in bedroom.
I can do it. Me, Jeff, and Darwin.
The key part of being on a team is that everybody contributes. When you get into a group situation,
I feel like when I'm in a group, nobody else like. doesn't
yes, when you
ask
get
me.
into a group and you're working and everyone else sort of seems like you do it, that's not really teamwork on their part. So then you feel, that's where you get your feelings, I prefer to work by myself because nobody else is doing their share.
Yeah, and because you can do it your way and not have to worry about confronting with other members of the group who maybe aren't contributing as much.
Yeah, you can't have it your way. This is Burger King.
Get with the engineers, man.
I can go around saying that.
So, if you need help with something, do you have a problem asking for it?
Yes, I do have a problem asking for help, but usually I do ask.
Employers want people who, if they need help, ask. They don't want you to sit there and do 1,000 pieces of work that are done incorrectly. That's money. So you,
But if you ask them for help too much, wouldn't they think that you're incompetent?
yes, if you ask for help too much, but they have to train you. They can't just throw you on a job and not give you any training. You have to ask for help. I mean, for example, when I was assembling heat exchangers, we made heat exchangers out of graphite, right? And some of them had these great big long tubes, and you had to take graphite tubes, machine them down, taper them together, and fit them, and put this special glue. And it was kind of precision work. And if you didn't know what you were doing, you would end up with bent tubes that didn't work. So, if you weren't sure about something, it was much better to go get the supervisor and ask than to sit there and give them 500 tubes that were bent out of shape, because then that was 500 tubes that were a total loss.
So what you're saying is don't bend tubes. Right.
No, I'm saying make sure you know what you're doing when you're doing your job. If you're not sure, make sure you get clarification. I mean, if you're like in the Navy, I was in the Navy, if you're like on a submarine and you're supposed to do a certain step at a certain time and you don't do it, you could cause the whole ship to sink.
Well, they train you to do that.
So,
Military is different.
you got to know what you're doing. And they make sure you know what you're doing or they won't let you do it. tell me about self-representation.
And then, just dressing appropriately for the job.
So, if you had a job in an office like Michael says, would it be appropriate to go wearing flip-flops and shorts? If you were working at Burger King, would it be appropriate to wear a three-piece suit? Matthew?
Three-piece suit.
Liar.
Is that like
Yeah.
skirts?
No, that's like
Where-
that's
wait.
jacket.
Oh,
pants,
Oh yeah, you
and
get a
vest.
uniform and stuff, so.
Yes.
Patrick says yes. Patrick says yes.
Manager.
Manager's always.
The manager just wears like a black shirt.
I don't think I've ever seen a manager at Burger King wearing a three-piece suit, but
Is it
it's
CEO?
possible.
Yeah.
If you're a VP coming to visit, if you're like regional manager, yeah, you might wear a three-piece suit.
Yeah.
Think of how cool it would be to order something from Burger King and someone that's got a suit and tie.
I think that'd be pretty. We should have restaurants that Patrick's gonna start a restaurant and everybody's gonna wear a suit.
Well, in Crystal City, you go into McDonald's and everybody's wearing suits there because everybody wears suits in Crystal City, and so the whole McDonald's is full of people in suits.
Awesome. I don't know, Crystal City, that just sounds awesome.
Crystal City's
TJ, is it appropriate to use foul language at the workplace?
If you're computer
Kind of
program.
like a turn off of the ball.
Construction.
So, you guys keep bringing up construction. How many of you are intending to seek a career in construction? Show hands.
Whatever pays the bills.
Whatever pays the bills. You're going to actively seek to be a construction.
Muzzle of ambition.
I was wondering if you could do that more.
If you could be whatever you wanted, get it whatever job you want, what would you get? Other than independently wealthy. Superhero. Superheroes don't get paid, they do it for the goodness of their moral values.
He wants to be Batman. He just wants to be
But if I'm a
Batman.
superhero, I could rob a bank and stop it.
Superheroes don't rob banks.
I'll pay him back.
Obviously, you're a villain.
With the money you stole? Are you kidding?
Rob banks.
So, if you're going for a job interview, Mary, what would you want to be timid or would you want to show confidence in
You want to
yourself?
show confident,
It's
not overconfident, because you don't want to come off.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna get this job, so I need to see.
We had to do this with what I've been with last year. We had to like go through the whole interview process.
Yeah, for this, I did this in CST.
What?
I did this in CST.
Yeah, I had to, in my photojournalism class last year, last year I had to go through this whole interview process and had to dress up and,
Oh, I didn't have to do that.
yeah, I had to
Well-
dress up. Ms. Rapakowski was all looking stiff.
That's because Virginia is really promoting workplace readiness skills, because employers are saying that people coming out of high school are not ready for jobs.
So then you go to college.
But there's jobs for people right out of high school. And a lot of people have to work to pay for college. So, let's talk about diversity. Hey. Mike Warno is here.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Latin American.
What?
I'm Hispanic. This classroom is more diverse.
So, if you're at a place and you feel singled out, what are you going to do about it?
Go to HR. Well, if you want your job, you probably shouldn't do much. If you feel singled out by the employer, there's really nothing you can do about it except take it.
There's always a means of redress.
Yeah, but.
And the company should train you on what that means is. If you feel like you're being harassed by your direct supervisor, you should be able to go to his
You should be
supervisor
able
and talk to
to beat him.
him about it. And there should be no fear of retaliation.
But there usually is.
Well, that's where you start getting into court systems and stuff.
Yeah, that's pretty.
But every company
But then you'd have to pay a
has
lawyer.
a system of redress, and it's federal law that they do not discriminate, so they have to have a system of redress.
What if the top supervisor is friends with the supervisor and both harass you? Just quit?
Then you go to the next
No,
supervisor.
because you have to pay the bills. You just have to take it.
Shut.
Well, if
Now, you guys, what would you do? What would you do, Corey, if you thought that the supervisor that was harassing you who was friends with the supervisor above him, then what would you do?
Break their computers.
Can't you call
Go to the person above that.
What if you're not
Break their computers? No, you're not going to damage the property of your employer. That is
Go
a
on
sure way to
strike.
get fired and a sure way to make you look bad.
Can't you go
Right.
to like the
They don't know. I'm the IT guy.
Riot.
the Better Business Bureau or something like that?
Yes.
Or like,
You can go to Equal Opportunity Commission.
Go on riot. Form an angry mob.
Jonathan,
Start a union.
yeah, go ahead.
if you were working someplace and there's a bunch of people that would say wore turbans that were Indian people, would you have a problem with it?
It's only 8
Why?
Because that's kind of a weird thing to go to your work with urban.
It's their religion.
But
I mean,
it is the United States, you got the right to be diverse. And if it's not against the company dress code or anything, why would you have a problem with it?
well, if it's not against the dress code, that's something.
Yeah, John. Like that.
Watch out for the camera.
Oh yeah, that.
Another thing employers are looking for are people that can resolve conflicts.
Oh, I can tell. Do
So,
that. I'll start one.
Matthew, you're at work. Your fellow employee's constantly picking on you. What do? You get in his face? You go to your boss? Go to your boss? Jeffrey, you're at work and you see Jonathan picking on Matthew. What do?
I'm gonna tell my boss that John's picking on Matt, and I'm gonna get him fired because he is
Don't you want
Would you try to, you would just go straight to the boss? You wouldn't try to resolve the conflict first?
I would try and resolve the conflict first, and then if it didn't get fixed, I'll go to the boss, and John will be gone.
If it's in public and it's out of our job, that'd be okay. He goes to the job, he goes to the job.
So Michael, if you were at work and you saw Jonathan picking on Matthew and Jeffrey here was just trying to resolve the conflict and it looked like it was escalating, how would you step in? What would you do?
Well, I guess, well, Jeffrey is trying to resolve it.
Yeah.
I guess I would help him and just try to calm him down. Probably call the supervisor.
That's what I said. Must be the way to go, right?
Yes, it is.
So, Mary,
Yes.
you've been doing this job for 10 years. And you think there's a better way to do it than what they tell you to do. Are you going to approach somebody and tell them your idea, or are you going to keep it to yourself?
Oh, I'll probably tell somebody.
Maybe we would have to work.
What about you, Austin?
What are you doing?
You've been working the same job for 10 years, and they got this routine, this procedure that you just think is total, no fun, boring, not efficient. You think you know a better way. Are you going to tell somebody, or are you going to keep it to yourself?
If I think the way's better, then it'll help them save money, then yeah. Have you ever seen that movie about that mental guy who they did testing on his brain and became really smart and made his company work 10 times more efficient because he spoke out against it?
London the 8th.
Are you serious?
They tested monkeys so they got
Stop. Stop. No, the guy, like, if they have something that's not efficient and you believe that another way is better, you should tell your worker, and if it is better, he's probably going to be happy with you. So if you could get away from that, why not?
Yeah, it's better to approach your employer and propose your idea. You don't want to tell your employer, we need to do it this way. It's like, well, I recommend we do it this way, and why? Because if you just go tell your boss, your way's all messed up, what's your boss going to say?
Well, what if my bus is kind of dull?
It doesn't matter. Or even if your boss, if you think your boss is slow and unintelligent, are you really going to approach him and tell him that?
No.
You probably wouldn't tell him that, you just tell him it's a better idea.
Maybe so.
You would approach him in a diplomatic manner and say, I think we would do better if we used this method as opposed to this method. You would not go up to him and say, your method's stupid, do it this way.
I'm not gonna go like
It
that.
also depends on what kind of relationship you have with the boss. If it's like if you have like a kind of a friend relationship, you might be able to say.
Well, of course, all these skills assume that you want to maintain and keep your job. If you don't want to maintain and keep your job, then following these skills may not be the best thing for you if you want to move on to something else. You might want to just say goodbye. But you want to maintain and keep your job, and you want to follow these routines and skills. So y'all need to maintain a creative genius mindset. Which means you want to think creatively, you want to take action when required, you want to make yourself indispensable. You want your employer to think that if they don't have you, they can't function.
You might just know that. It's just obvious.
I'm going to work for Microsoft because they always hire lazy people. Because lazy people find an easy way to do something hard.
Lazy people find an easy way to do something hard.
Yes. I know you saw that on like Facebook or something, didn't you?
I think I
So
saw.
I was just going through quotes.
I think I
That
saw.
popped up, so I was like,
Okay, so
well,
what we're going to do now is I'm going to break you up into groups.
Oh, please not groups.
Group teamwork.
We
Yeah.
only had like.
doing all the work.
I love
Does
it.
it have to be groups?
It's groups.
Why can't it just be individual activities?
Mary, you're gonna get
No,
fired
groups
for
of
that
three groups of three, and I'm gonna give you some scenarios, and I want you guys to work as a group to come up with answers or what you would do, and then toward the end of the class, you'll present to the other groups what you chose, and they'll present what they chose.
Maybe not groups.
So you're gonna have to work together. It's a teamwork, team building exercise.
People don't really like me, so they don't really want me in their group.
Everybody loves you.
No,
Everybody wants you in your group.
No.
not, no. I think you're.
I bet you